let's do some very specific things to improve our mindset and improve what we think when we're selling. Now, I'm going to go back to this slide. I watched any of our other training videos. You will have seen this comparison of product selling to consultative selling. We typically talk about this comparison when we talk about what to say and building your script and sales message. And that on the left is product selling, where that's salespeople that are going out primarily pushing products and talking about their product. And on the right side is consultative selling, where that's a salesperson that's trying to be more of a consultant, ask good questions, focus more on improvements and problems. And while it can impact what you say, if you shift from product selling to consultative selling, it can also improve your mindset. And it starts with actually the value piece of consultative selling, where you are focusing on the improvements that your product and service can make. And what you can do is, if you keep those improvements that you can make in the front of your mind, this is what is called value awareness. So the improvements that you can make is the value that your service or your product has to offer. And if you keep that in the front of your mind, then you're maintaining value awareness. It can be very easy for you to know the value and benefits that your product delivers, but to forget it, to put it on the back burner, and to have in the front of your mind the product that you sell and only talk about the product. That's how you fall into being more of a product selling salesperson. But if we fight that natural instinct and try to maintain that value awareness by keeping the improvements in the front of our mind, and when you're more aware of how you help, then you can realize that there are people out there that need what you sell. And if there are people out there that need what you sell, and you're just trying to find those people, then you are looking for the people that you help. This can decrease your call reluctance, because if you're trying to push a product and you're trying to talk someone into wanting what you sell, you might be reluctant to try to have that conversation. But if you are reaching out to someone to see if they are part of the pie of people that need what you sell, then you will be less reluctant, because you're trying to help people and you're just trying to look for the people that need your help. And that's the next step here, which is you want to view yourself more as a helper. If your product helps in some sort of way, there are people that need your help and there are people that don't. Just like if there's a doctor that has medicine, there are people that are sick that need the medicine, and there are people that are healthy and don't need the medicine. So you're just trying to find the people that need the medicine and the people that need your help. And if you cross paths with someone that doesn't need your help, you're not doing anything wrong. They're not doing anything wrong by telling you that they don't need you. You're just scratching them off the list of the list of people that potentially need your help, and they're saving you time that could have been wasted with them, so that you can go find the people that need your help. So you want to view yourself as a helper in the way that your product or service helps someone, and you're just looking for those people that need your help. And this is a shift in mindset from being a taker. When you're a product selling salesperson and you are trying to talk people into wanting your product, you're becoming a taker. You want to first take their time so that you can talk to them about your company and your product. Then you want to talk them into buying and close the deal, which is then you taking their money. So that's a very taking mindset. Becoming value aware and looking for the people that need your help and focusing on them and trying to help them is more of a helper. So start being a helper and stop being a taker. The next tip is to try to minimize and eliminate using weak language. When you talk in a weak way, and I'll give you some examples here, that can make you feel weak in terms of what you're trying to do and your position compared to the prospect. For example, when you say stuff like, I know you're busy right now, but I'll only take a couple minutes of your time. Or I'm sorry for the interruption, or I will not take too much of your time, or did I catch you at a bad time, or I'm sorry to bother you. This is all very weak. And this is the type of language that a taker takes, and that a product selling salesperson might use, because that person knows that they're not helping, they're trying to take, and they're trying to be as less intrusive as possible. And they know that they're bothering the person because they're trying to push their product on them. So they try to soften that by using this weak language. And right away, not only are you presenting yourself in a weaker, lower value position to the prospect, but you're probably likely feeling lower value as well. So just eliminate this language. And quite honestly, if you truly become value aware, keeping your improvements at the front of your mind, and you really truly begin to see yourself as a helper instead of a taker, then you will naturally stop using weak language. But until you get there, just really realize when you're using language like this and try to eliminate it. The next tip is to use a tool called sales affirmations. You may know what affirmations are. Affirmations are basically positive statements that affirm and strengthen your mind around something that is basically a strength for you. I'm going to be very specific here and give you a tool that you can actually use. This is not fluffy. Let's look in the mirror and tell ourselves that we're smart enough, we're good enough, and we can be a good salesperson and we can go out and make a lot of money. I'm going to give you real tactical, tangible affirmations that you can use to improve your mindset. And really, it goes back to this same concept here of product selling to consultative selling. When you're product selling, all you're really thinking about and talking about is your company and product. But if you're consultative selling, you can use almost all of these different areas of your consultative selling sales message as sales affirmations. So let me show you what that looks like. And it actually starts with building your consultative selling sales message, which we've done in a previous training module. So if this slide is new that I'm going to show you here, you might want to go back and watch the training module on how to build your sales message. But in a previous module, we basically created a sales message, a consultative sales message for web design services, targeting small businesses. These are the improvements. These are the pain points. These are the questions we could ask. And then this is a customer example for that particular service line. This is the sales message that we created, and that allowed us to create different building blocks that we then use, or that we've used in other training modules, to create scripts and emails and voicemails and whatnot. Now we can use those same building blocks to create sales affirmations. And let me show you what that looks like. So if we start with our value points, not only can we use our value points in our script, but these are sales affirmations, because if our service helps small businesses to increase revenue and improve website conversion rates and increase website traffic, those are all great things for our prospects. And there are people out there, businesses, that are interested and need those improvements. So we just need to find those people. And we can look at this and treat this as an affirmation to ourselves that, hey, I help small businesses. I help small businesses in very important ways. Now, there are businesses out there that have done a very good job in these areas, and they don't need my help. And that's just fine. I may talk to them, but hopefully I identify them really quickly so I don't waste their time and my time, because I'm trying to find the people that need this help. And I'm a helper, and this is how I'm trying to help the people that I'm about to call. So the way you could use that is you could look at that as an affirmation to remind yourself before you make a call, when you start your day, in between calls if you really have to. And you could use your pain points in the same way, because if your product solves problems, like, there are small businesses out there that aren't getting enough revenue through their website, or they're not converting website visitors, or they're not getting the website traffic they need, those are problems. And I help to solve those problems. And people need me to help them fix those problems. So I need to go out there and pick up the phone and find the people that need this help. And these are real problems too, right? If these are not real problems, not only is that not a good sales affirmation, but then that's not a good sales message, and it's not a good product that I sell if I don't fix any problems. We could use our name drop in the same way, because if we have a name drop example of someone we've helped in the past, we can start to doubt our product or service when we get rejected. Let's say you make 10 cold calls, talk to 10 people, and you get blown out of the water on all 10 calls. You're going to start to doubt whether or not what you sell works, or whether or not people need what you sell after all that rejection. But if you can really think of a customer example of someone you've really helped, not only is that good for your sales message and your script, but it's also a good reminder to yourself that, hey, I helped these guys over here to do this, and they really love that, and it helped them. And so let me remind myself of that customer example when it's time to get my mind right and get my head straight before I make calls. You could also use your product building block, because when we create your product building block, not only is it all the features of what your product does, but we also want you to focus on how you're different, how you're better, some really key bragging points about your company. So the differentiation and the bragging points are great affirmations, because, if your product is quicker to implement, is cheaper, it comes with this, or it's it's easier to use. If you're fighting day in and day out with really fierce competition, it's important to remind yourself that, hey, we're pretty good too, and we're better in a lot of ways, and this is how we're better, and remind yourself of that when you're about to go sell. Now, the last thing on the affirmations is that the great thing about that is what we just did there was we used our sales message as sales affirmations to improve our mental strength and to improve our confidence. Now, the great thing about that is that the sales message is also what we need to use when we actually get on the phone with prospects. So if you're using your sales message as affirmations before you make calls, you're reminding yourself of what you need to be talking about when someone actually answers the call. So it's a really good, not only mental tool to use, but also it will help you in sales execution as well. And so the way to implement that is you could put these down on a piece of paper and put them on a wall, have them on your desk and look at them when you start your day or in between calls.